What is going on, everybody? Thammagotcha here. Welcome to another video. We're going to be hopping into the Great League with an Annihilate Altaria core that I think is very strong and kind of complement each other. I round the team off with Lantern here just in case we see any other flying type Pokemon or anything that needs to be dealt with, like a Feraligatr, for instance. Maybe Spark should be run on this team, but I decided to go with Water Gun just in case I got stuck against a Bastiodon or a Gligar matchup. I wanted Water Gun Lantern, plus Spark got the nerf, so I wanted to test out Lantern with Water Gun because I really haven't played Lantern all too much this season. So, and Altaria for that matter. So, first matchup, we get Earthquake here, which is absolutely insane. We get the Lantern onto the Mantine, and they decide to hop into a Bastiodon. Now, with Water Gun, it is a little bit better. Although we do get to these surfs a little bit slower, but we're doing consistent super effective water gun damage. But Bastiodon is so bulky, even with a 2v shield matchup, he makes this this matchup very, very close. So my goal is to get the second shield, possibly take this thing out here with a couple of counters if I can get it low enough. But what I should have done is I should have kept farming energy with the Lantern. I had a shield left. I should have just tried to attempt to farm it all the way down, had a Thunderbolt, because everything that this Mantine is going to throw is resisted. So I made the Bozo 10-headed play thinking I could maybe counter down with the Annihilate, but we end up getting nowhere with that, where we could have just potentially farmed all the way down, left with the Thunderbolt the Mantine, and then Night Slash. So unfortunately, a little bit of a misplay on my end, but that was the first game I ran with this team, as I went 0-5 with a couple teams that I tried, and I was like, okay, let's just try something like this, and this is where we let off. So first game you lose. It was a close loss, so I continue playing with it just to see how it goes. Pretty terrible matchup, Annihilate versus Annihilate. I always hate the bait and no bait game, so I really don't like playing the mirror matchups, because they're always just like, oh, what is your opponent gonna do? What are they not gonna do? I just go straight Night Slash. That might not be the right play, considering 2 Night Slashes don't knock out an Annihilate anyways, but if you end up getting the boost, you just never know. So we end up, I do believe we won that first matchup. No, they end up swapping to a Dugong. We get a Shadow Ball and a shield back, but they have a shield advantage. Drill Run not gonna be enough to KO us here. We're gonna be able to get to the Thunderbolt to knock out the Dugong, which honestly, up energy, Dugong can kind of flip that matchup with a shield advantage. I don't know, they don't have any shields left, and it's Scar me in the back. So this game is gonna be pretty hard to manage, considering my Lantern is almost gone. So I decided to hop into my Altaria here. A little bit of a 5-head play. One Brave Bird is not gonna be able to KO. They're gonna be able to have the Brave Bird and Sky attack me, just to get rid of my Altaria, which means all their energy is gone. So all I have to do is farm down with my own Annihilate, and they have 0 energy on this Skarmory. I'm gonna be able to outpace to a Night Slash or a Shadow Ball, and my opponent just has top left. So what turned out to be a pretty bad end game turned out to be a positive one for us. So really good lead, Vigoroth into Annihilate. They hop into an Azumarill, but with Water Gun, it's a little bit favored to Azumarill, because Azumarill can eat this Thunderbolt like nobody's business. This thing just it just eats moves for days. Doesn't even put that in the red. It's insane. We can take another player off, but this gets kind of dicey, because if they want to start shielding, they can now flip this matchup just due to the raw bubble damage that they're going to be outputting. But they decided to no shield that, come in with the Trevenant, and this is perfect. We have the alignment that we need. We can put the Altaria on the Trevenant. We can survive a Shadow Ball, but I'm not going to mess around. Vigoroth just gets absolutely train wrecked by Annihilate, so I'm just going to double shield anyways, and that's going to be a good game. Well played to my opponent. So hopping to the next matchup here, absolute garbage lead. We do have 2 better answers, so I'm gonna hop into my Altaria. My opponent's staying in here. They're farming up a boatload of energy, so I will respect the Hurricane, as Hurricane would do some pretty valuable damage onto my Altaria. And if they are staying in with the Pelipper just to get some chip damage, then I'm realizing that they don't really have a solid response to my Altaria. And Quagsire, it having Stone Edge, It's going to be able to hit super effectively, but it's not going to be enough to one-shot, and this Dragon Breath damage plus Sky Attack is going to be super valuable. I went for the Sky Attack. I probably should have built up to the Moonblast and just thrown the Moonblast, as it would have done more damage, and I probably could have just farmed down with Dragon Breath afterward. Didn't want to shield that. They were at the back-to-back, and this Quagsire is actually running Mud Bomb, so going to be hitting just a little bit harder, but a little bit slower to get to those moves. So they... Oh, hello Gligar, and this is why we run Water Gun. Water Gun doing consistent super effective damage, and after the Water Guns getting back-to-back surfs, you should be able to knock out the Gligar, be non-shadow. So I will shield up this move. If they did bait, they can make this game very, very close, but they decided to full send the dig, which we shield up correctly, and then from here the Pelipper is just gonna get knocked out. One Hurricane is gonna do it, and a couple of Weather Balls. We can probably survive a Hurricane plus a Weather Ball from that health range, so that's a GG's. Well played to my opponent. Hopping into the next matchup here, Bastiodon lead, absolutely amazing, and they hop into a victory bell. If y'all don't know this team is the Toxic team, the Tap Smackdown, and Charmer is going to be in the back. You all know the Wigglytuff, or it's going to be a double Razor Leafer, but I'm assuming it's going to be Wigglytuff, and Lantern with Water Gun absolutely shreds through Wigglytuff. Even if you don't shield the Icy Wind, which in these matchups I recommend shielding the Icy Wind, just because you want to keep alignment and you want to continue to keep healthier on the Lantern. So if you no shield the Icy Wind, you're potentially going to get farmed down there. So that is why I decide to shield the Icy Wind instead of letting it go. So obviously this is like one of their last Pokemon, so we are going to keep our Lantern aligned to this thing, and I'm hoping I can reach 3 surfs, which might be enough here. Trying to, throw on good timing, which is going to be 2 Water Guns in between their charms, so they don't sink a full charm through. Can I get there? Yes, I can, and that charm should just be about to knock us out there, but this surf knocks out the Wigglytuff. We come in with the Annihilate. They know the game is over. See you later, Toxic Team. Me 1, Toxic Team 0. You love to see it. So that was a good 4-1 set. Hopping into the next matchups here. A beautiful lead here. They hop into a Skeledirge, and I'm hopping into my Lantern. And I totally forgot about this team. I'm pretty sure Jonkus made it, but it's going to be Vigoroth, double Incinerate user. So my Lantern does have a lot of play here, but unfortunately my Switch Clock timer is not going to be up for me to swap out of here. And I'm pretty sure my Altaria is going to do just fine against that Talonflame when it wants to come in. So Thunderbolt going to be coming in, doing maximum damage here. I'm going to come in with the Annihilate. There's the Talonflame right there, and these Dragon Pests are really going to start to shred through this Talonflame. I can shield up everything here. It's not going to be really an issue as long as I just get a couple Dragon Breaths in, keep going, throw in between there. So I throw 4 Dragon Breaths that time, and then the Fly, which if you are good at optimizing one-turn fast moves, I really suggest you utilize it, because being able to only allow your opponent to have 1 free turn is probably one of the best things you can do for any kind of matchup whatsoever, because it's one-turn fast moves are just great to use. So everything's going to be resisted by the Vigoroth, so no need to shield. Even if we had one, doesn't really matter anyways. 2 counters are going to be able to knock out the Talonflame, and that's going to be a good game. Well played by my opponent there. So hopping into the next matchup, Annihilate versus Whiscash. This is a pretty even matchup. If they get the debuff, it leans more towards Whiscash here. As you can see, we are lagging out a crap ton here. Gonna be shooting up the first move. I really don't know how much energy they have. I tried to throw the Shadow Ball a heck of a lot sooner, but Shadow Ball, left, right, good night. They hop into a Gligar. I could swap here, but I had a feeling it might be a double flyer backline with a Skarmory back there, so I don't intend to give up switch whatsoever. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to align my Altaria onto the Gligar, and then my Lantern onto the Skarmory, and my opponent quits the match. So GG's, well played to my opponent. Just really kind of a hard counter team once we hit the backline. So Annihilate getting a pretty good lead. I mean, Night Slash is really the only move we can throw here. I know they're going to get to that Scorching Sands on 7. Quick Attack's going to be double resisted. Scorching Sands does do some damage, but it's not a whole lot of damage that I have to be worried about shielding the first move. So they do get the attack drop, which is quite unfortunate, but we do end up throwing on CMP for the next one. So it's going to be 7-6 to each Scorching Sands, and from here I will shield up this move. Since they're not swapping out of a losing matchup, I'm assuming they're probably going to be weak to Annihilate in the back somewhere. In comes the Mantine, and I know both of my Pokemon do really good against Mantine, although Lantern completely walls Mantine, and Annihilate is going to be coming in. With a shield down, we're still going to be able to win this matchup. So I'm going to no shield the Shadow Ball. It's not enough to one shot, but look at the Dragon Breaths absolutely shredding through this Annihilate, like just cutting it deep. A Sky Attack's going to be coming in. That's going to get shielded. From here, I could just go straight for the farm down, even if they do Night Slash here. They're not going to be able to get to another one. We have a Sky Attack locked and loaded. My opponent just quits the match because, well, Mantine onto Lantern, just a losing matchup, even with 2 shield advantage. So it is what it is. Another great lead for Annihilate. My gosh, just catching all the leads. So we're not going to be able to throw on proper move timing the first time around. But since they're staying in this matchup, I do assume that they're going to be weak to this Annihilate in the back. So I'm going to throw 4 more counters. And then the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball should be enough to knock out from this health range, even with the debuff. And there's the Annihilate. I'm going to farm up back to the Shadow Ball, throw the Night Slash. And from here, I'm going to dip into my Altaria. And I'm hoping they don't have that. Oh, that's right there. That's, this is why you don't save swap in Altaria, everybody. Because, this Bastion is going to get the fattest farm down you could ever think of its getting. But luckily, we get the attack drop. This is going to completely change this game on its head. So my opponent went from a winning position to look at how little that freaking flamethrower does, and I'm going to be shielding up this move. Night Slash going to be coming in. I now can get the last shield from my opponent. Night Slash grabbing the last shield. I come in with the Lantern here, and I'm really hoping that they don't get to a Shadow Ball, but I know they're at the one here right now just because I was probably counting in the game. So yeah, Shadow Ball gonna do massive damage. I get to the Thunderbolt as soon as I can, and can I outpace here to a Water Gun before they farm me down? Lantern, come on! Yes! Ooh, hair of our chinny chin chin, everybody. We get there. Left, right, good night to that Bastion, and Lantern takes the game. Well played to my opponent. So hopping into the next matchup here. My gosh, this is a terrible lead for us. Aerial Ace going to be doing super effective damage. So I decided to catch on 7. I think it was 7. Because it was 1 before I got to the Shadow Ball. So I was assuming they were going to throw 1 before I got to the Shadow Ball. But in comes a Carbink. Stinky Binky, as we like to call it, the butt plug, as Jamie Finn. Shout out to the Shadow King, Jamie Finn. If you haven't checked out his channel, go check him out. He's an absolute boss creator. So this is actually not as bad as the Bastion matchup, because the Moonblast do neutral damage and they kind of add up. So, and from here, I'm just going to come in with the Lantern. I'm going to eat both of these moves. They're not going to be able to make it to 2 Moonblasts anyways by the time we get the full farm down. And I was thinking, okay, they're going to swap right away, so I come back into my Annihilate. I am going to have to shield this Frenzy Plant, however, and I'm kind of really hoping that it's something weakened to the Annihilate in the back. They end up no shielding that, and then I'm like, okay, they got to have something strong. But my Lantern is like well over half under health, and what is in the back? It's a Lantern of their own. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to throw this Night Slash, try to get both shields. What I should have done is thrown 1 and then the Night Slash, and then tried to catch the Thunderbolt here from knocking us out, because then we would have been able to outpace. They probably would have one-shot us or undercharged it just enough for them to get another thing. To get another Thunderbolt, actually. If they were a really good player, they could have undercharged that pretty well. Which I had enough health that you could have done that. So nice 4-1 set there to end the video off. So yeah. But going back, if I would have caught that move and they would have just fully charged that, I would have outpaced the Shadow Ball and possibly won that game. But I decided to go 2 when my Switch Call Climber would have been up after 1. So if I did that, it would have been a lot closer of a game. But well played to my opponent there. So thank you all so very much for watching. If y'all like the content, please hit that like button, comment if you want to see anything in the future. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button because it really helps with the channel and is greatly appreciated. And we will see everybody in the next video. Bye-bye.